Alright everyone, it's 4 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. My name is Benjamin Moeller. I'm a paleontologist, and on Mondays at 4 p.m. Arizona time, for the most part, I do microstreams where I stream from my living room microscope and maybe listen to a little music. Sometime I'm sorting through sediment, sometimes I'm doing photography. Today is a photography day, and I'm going to be taking specimen photos of a series of lanternfish. So these are small, fairly small fish fossils, no more than, I think, about 8 centimeters. I'm just kind of eyeballing these. Most of these are, yeah, pretty small. Actually, less than that. Let me get my scale here. Yeah, closer to 4 or 5 centimeters. So these are all pretty small. And what's interesting about lanternfish, these are in the genus Lampinictus, and what's interesting about lanternfish is they actually have bioluminescent organs within their bodies. So this is one of the types of fish that actually glows in the dark. Now, do we know that this extinct 10 million year old lanternfish could do that? I'm not sure. Actually, I'm doing research on these guys this week. Most likely there is not evidence one way or another. It's kind of hard for that stuff to preserve, although these are pretty delicately preserved fish. So you can see, the spine there. This one looks like it's been preserved. On the side, as most of these are, so this is kind of the skull region, and if you keep moving down this way, we'll get towards the tail. And so today I'm taking photos of the specimen for writing my article for the week. And if you're watching this live, you can put a comment in the chat if you'd like to ask any questions about what's going on with the stream, or just a more general question. And I've got 5 of these that I'm going to be doing photography for, so I'm just going to keep going until I'm finished. That may or may not be until the full hour. I'm just going to get started and see what we see. And I just got back from visiting the East Coast and got some feedback on the stream, actually. It was really nice to hear from people who watch these videos back. I don't know if they want me to say their names on stream, but you know who you are. Thanks for watching. And I will do my best to not squeak my chair and not have my annoying cat meowing all the time. I try not to feed her too early in the afternoon, but that's one of the ways to shut her up. So for today, she got an early dinner. Good for her. Good for you. She's not even looking at me. She doesn't care. All right, let's go ahead and get started. And we'll have the radio going in the background. I don't really pay too close of attention to what's playing. It's a little hard to find stuff out here in Tucson that's not like country or Christian radio. No shade if that's what you like, but it's not my speed. Let's see. Trying to get this stuff as in focus as I can. You can see here on the spine, so those kind of darker bones in the middle are the centra of the vertebrae, and then you have ribs coming off of it. In larger reptiles, their transverse processes and chevrons and things. I'm still learning about fish anatomy, so there may be different words for those similar structures. Fish people actually do come at me. Let me know what you know. These are all the delicate bones at the end of the tail here. You can see one of the fins kind of compressed up there. Okay. Let's see what the next one looks like. Here we go. You can see a really good outline here of where the soft tissue is. And there's one of the dorsal fins, the ones that are on the top of the body. These are all obviously extremely delicate bones, but I'll also point out that the matrix itself seems to be pretty delicate. So these pieces have clearly been solidified with some kind of cyanoacrylate glue, The whole thing is glued, so I'm happy that it's still showing up on the microscope because that adds a certain amount of reflection to the piece that can make it difficult to photograph, but it's showing up on here just fine, which is good. You can see right there, there's another fin. These thin lines right here. That's another one of the fins that's been preserved. Such a small, delicate structure. It's really impressively preserved. And yeah, my guess is that the matrix that comes out of is really soft and falls apart easily. I can see little bits crumbling off of it, but for the most part it's holding together. So these are some really cool pieces. Oh, look at that. We're up to the skull now. I'm not sure which bone that is right there. I would say that these are fairly well articulated. They're pretty much in life position, although some of the pieces clearly have drifted a little bit. You can see the tail here kind of trails off. Some smaller pieces. Let's move on to piece number 3. The skull on this guy is kind of a mess. You fell apart a little bit. See, there's a lot of these bones here. The spine is pretty well intact, but there's some other bones here that have kind of disconnected and fallen apart. So things like that tell you the taphonomy, so the state of change that the body undergoes between death and burial and fossilization. Tells you a lot about the depositional environment, of course. So the fact that this guy is still fairly intact obviously means that he wasn't eaten and wasn't pulled apart by scavengers. But before fossilization, it had fallen apart a little bit. Some of these bones have come disconnected, sort of floated away a little bit. So this is a depositional environment with pretty gentle, marine action, wave energy, just by the fact that this is small particles in the rock itself and a small, delicate animal that hasn't been broken apart. We know that it wasn't extensively scavenged on. Maybe small invertebrates kind of picked at it before burial. But even that will cause a lot of these delicate bones to fall apart or be broken, and you can see the spine is still pretty much intact. It might be broken right there. You can see some of these ribs as well. And of course, the bones tend not to move quite so freely until soft tissue has been broken down. So this guy might have been rotting for a little while down in the depths. Lanternfish live fairly deep down, and so wherever it was buried was probably not super active, not full of other animals, which is kind of an ideal situation, an ideal place to be buried. But there was enough time for it to rot a little bit and fall apart to a small extent. It's not fully articulated, but still fairly well articulated, all things considered. Okay. Let's take a look at number 4. skull on this one is definitely fallen apart a little bit. End of the tail here is bent. Not in a way that it looks like it would have been possible in life. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put on specimen number 5. Let's see what we got. Ta-da! Focus. There we go. This one's definitely in better shape here. See a couple of stray bones here and there, but still pretty well articulated. Actually, did I photograph this one already? Let me take a look. Yeah, I think I did. I think I did this one. Here, I think it's this one I haven't done yet. Bring that into focus. There we go. Yeah, this one's interesting. You can just kind of make out the centra of the spine there, and they're not in terribly good shape. It's pretty likely that in uncovering these pieces, however that happens, I don't know much about the site that produces these, although again with how crumbly the matrix is, it's definitely a delicate process. I imagine, once emerged, these things probably fall apart pretty quickly if you're not careful and very intentional. Since this one doesn't have a ton going on, I'm going to swap it out with one of the better preserved pieces. See if we can get any bonus photos here before I wrap up. And I can see that some people have joined, so welcome and thanks for joining. If you have any questions about any of the work that I do or what we're looking at right now, feel free to drop them in the chat. You may be interested to learn that I work on a free virtual museum that you can download on Steam. And, well, you can probably infer that the photography and the articles that I'm doing right now on these lanternfish might have something to do with that. Let's get up real close to these verts. See what we can see. Okay. It's an interesting little bone right there. Not sure what that is. Okay. Alright guys, I think that is enough for today. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for watching the stream if you're watching this afterwards. And most likely next Monday, I'll either be doing more photography on here, or I'm going to be trying to stream some more stuff from Shadowbox, and that may or may not actually be on Twitch next week instead of YouTube. I'll see if I can cast to both simultaneously. Just trying to explore using a different platform, see if I can reach out to anybody in that audience who might not see this stuff through YouTube. So the best way to keep track of what I'm up to and see what I'm doing is to join. You can join my Patreon for free to get notified of things like free stuff that I do, like the Microstream. And I also have a Discord that is linked on Patreon. So those are great ways to keep up with me. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your Monday, and I'll see you next week.